Hello, everybody, and welcome back to English with Gemma, where we turn English practice into progress. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about something that everybody struggles with, which is confidence. And if you don't struggle with your confidence, then please let us know your secrets because I have yet to meet somebody who is like 100% confident 100% of the time. And I also think it's not that realistic. So that's not really what we're aiming for. We're just aiming for an improvement in our level of confidence. So let's um let's just get into it. We are not only just talking about confidence because we've talked about that on this channel before. We are talking about how to like improve confidence even when your grammar isn't perfect. So I think something that happens is that we think that native speakers use perfect grammar all the time. This is something that I hear a lot from my students, which is like, how can I sound like a native speaker? How can I be perfectly fluent and have perfect English like a native speaker? Well, the truth is, guys, that native speakers are not perfect and don't have perfect English, and we make mistakes. So there's no such thing as speaking English perfectly or without grammatical mistakes because even native speakers make plenty of grammatical mistakes. So, the first thing we have to get over is that we don't need to be using perfect grammar, perfect English, perfect vocabulary to speak confidently. I speak Spanish very confidently and I make mistakes. And it doesn't hinder or make it difficult for me to have conversations with people because I make mistakes, but I try to learn from them and I try not to focus on them too much because it doesn't get in the way of me being able to express myself. So it's not that I don't care about my mistakes or that I don't want to keep improving my Spanish. It's just that I'm okay with where I'm at. I accept where I'm at and then it's not perfect. And I just keep talking anyways. Sorry, I keep touching my face so much because I'm having really bad allergies today. Let's get into it. So, let's start with the first thing, and it's a feeling that we all know very well. It is the fear of making mistakes. You know, that moment when you're speaking English and you're doing it quite fluently, but then you get stuck. You stop yourself because you're afraid of whatever you're about to say next sounding wrong, because maybe you're not 100% sure if it's the right way to say something. So you think, if I make a mistake, people will think I'm not smart. Or if my grammar isn't perfect, then people in this business meeting won't take me seriously. Or maybe the biggest concern is, what if they don't understand me? So, like I said before, native speakers make mistakes all the time. I mean it. If you listen to real conversations, podcasts or interviews, people trip over their words all the time. People use the wrong grammatical tense or people mispronounce things all the time. Um, you know, it's not a big deal. The native speakers just keep talking and they don't freeze, they don't panic, they don't even probably notice that they're making those mistakes. So why do we as learners panic? Because you've been taught in the past that grammar equals intelligence, or good grammar equals good level of English. But communication, real life communication, is not a test. It's just a conversation. Like, no one is testing you. And confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about sounding relaxed, clear, and comfortable in your own voice. And that's what we're going to work on today. So, tip number one is focus on your tone, not tense. So, if you take one thing away from today's episode, let it be this: your tone matters more than your grammar. So, people pay attention to how you sound before they notice any mistakes. Let's try a quick example. Imagine two people giving the same answer. This is speaker A. Uh, maybe, I don't know, 7? You can hear the hesitation, you can hear the uncertainty in their voice. And speaker B, I'm not sure, but I think it's around 7. Both people are unsure about the information they're giving, but speaker A really reflects that in their tone. Speaker B doesn't. So, same meaning, same information, but speaker B is going to sound like the more confident speaker, even if their grammar or their knowledge isn't higher, because they're using a calm, confident, and clear tone of voice and intonation. So here's what happens when your tone is strong. The listener feels more relaxed when you talk. They will stop focusing on your grammar and vocab as much. They trust what you're saying more, and you instantly sound more fluent and more confident. So try this little exercise later. Open your phone, pretend someone asked you a simple question like, "What time does the movie start?" and answer it in a confident tone. Don't worry about tenses, worry about your voice. Remember, guys, tone over tense every time. Okay. Tip number 2 is about fillers, filler words, using fillers like a native. So let's talk about fillers. And no, I'm not talking about Kylie Jenner or lip fillers. I'm talking about the phrases that native speakers use all the time to fill the empty space in between words. So textbooks, English textbooks will tell you to avoid using fillers. But we are not in an English class. We are not in a textbook. We are in real life. And the truth is that native speakers use fillers constantly. Let's look at some fillers. You know, I mean, actually, basically, kind of. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's the cool part. Using fillers is actually going to make you sound more natural. Let me give you an example. Here is a phrase without fillers. It is complicated, but I will explain. Kind of sounds a little robotic, kind of sounds weirdly formal. Now, with fillers. I mean, it's kind of complicated, but I'll explain. So I said, I mean, and you know. And do you hear that difference? The second one sounds warmer, friendlier, and more natural, like a real conversation, like a real native speaker. Fillers are great because they also give you thinking time. You can breathe, organize your thoughts, and continue speaking without panicking. So try this next time you feel a bit stuck. Don't freeze. Use a filler. Well, I mean, it depends. Actually, that's a good question. So basically, it works like this. So, congratulations, you just sounded more natural and confident, and you bought yourself an extra 2 seconds to think, organize your sentence, and hopefully communicate what you want to say a bit clearer. Tip number 3, keep your sentences short and simple. Like, basically, sometimes we overcomplicate, and that actually makes us sound less confident when we're trying to use more complicated structures or vocabulary or grammar. We can often sound less confident. Intermediate learners will often push themselves to use more complicated structures, which is good. It's how you progress, but in everyday conversation, simpler is better. Let's compare this sentence. It's more advanced, but also more stressful. It's creating grammar stress. If I had known about it before, I would have done it. This is third conditional. It's grammatically correct, but it's long. And when you're nervous, long sentences have more ability to fall apart. So let's try this sentence instead. So instead of if I had known about it before, I would have done it, you can just say, oh, I didn't know. I would do it if I could. So now you're speaking in present tense. You're using would, which is a modal verb, so that's good, but you're not like going to third conditional. It's clear, it's natural, and most importantly, it has the same meaning as the first sentence, and it's easier. So here's the secret: native speakers also use simple sentences, and real conversations are made of short phrases. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, that makes sense. Hold on, let me think. These are just little short phrases. You don't have there are obviously more complicated alternatives, but you don't need to be using those. Like, why make your life harder? Shorter sentences equals clearer speech equals more confident speech, right? Tip number 4 is practicing your confident voice or your confident tone that we talked about earlier. This one might be uncomfortable at first, but trust me, it works. I want you to practice your confident voice. It's like my voice that I use for doing the podcast is my confident voice. It's very similar to my natural way of speaking, but it's more intentional, it's slower, it's clearer. And yeah, I think definitely I have like a different way of speaking on the podcast than I would in my everyday speech. Um, so here's how I want you to do the same. Take out your phone, record yourself, choose a topic you know well, your job, a hobby that you have, your city, and speak for 1 minute. Listen back and then ask yourself, do I sound sure of myself? Do I sound friendly? Do I sound like someone I would want to listen to? Am I using filler phrases? Am I um, using simple structures? So then go back and re-record that with all those things in mind. And remember, confidence is not really a personality trait, it's a skill that people develop over time. A lot of people are naturally confident, but I think 95% of confident people that you see in media or, in day-to-day life, they've worked on that. They've developed that skill. And it's not something that necessarily came naturally to them. So you can definitely do the same thing. So, you guys, I will leave you with this final message. Confidence in English does not come from having perfect grammar, it comes from feeling comfortable in your voice and using your voice um, and focusing on sounding natural, relaxed, clear. And then people will listen more to your message and what you have to say rather than focusing on any mistakes that you make. So, your challenge for the week is choosing one situation where you can practice sounding confident, even if you make mistakes. Maybe it's ordering food. Maybe it's a work meeting. Maybe it's a phone call that you've been avoiding for some time. Whatever it is, just go for it. Just try it. Be bravely imperfect. Like I always talk about this notion of doing things quote unquote badly or imperfectly is better than not doing them at all. So stop avoiding those things that scare you and just go for it and do it imperfectly because nobody is perfect. My phrase at the beginning of my podcast is where we turn English practice into progress. Practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes progress. And that's something that I really stand by. And we should never be striving for perfection because it doesn't really exist. We should be striving to do as good as we can, but we're really looking for progress, and progress looks different for everybody. It has a different timeline for everybody. What I consider as progress for myself might not be that much progress for somebody else. We're all different, so we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people's progress. You're just on your own little voyage and your own little language learning journey, and you don't need to be, sitting in your sailboat on this voyage, on this exploration of learning English, and then looking to your left and your right at the other sailboats and seeing how fast the wind is carrying them along and then trying to speed up and catch up to that. No, it's your own nice little sailboat journey. You're just enjoying the sound of the waves, you're enjoying the breeze, and you're not worrying about getting to the destination. You're enjoying that journey. And it's really cool to see your progress over time and to think how far you've come. And like, there's always room for improvement, there's always more to be done. but that doesn't take away from how far you've come already. And that shouldn't be the driving factor of like why you want to go on this journey. It's not like, oh, I want to be C2 level and I want to be fluent. It's like, yes, we can have those ideas and those objectives in the long term, but like, let's just focus on enjoying the day-to-day process, you know? Like that's where the real fun happens. And like if you're not having fun in your English learning journey, then you're not going to progress as fast as you want to, because you really need to enjoy the process. Like that's the most important thing. Like have fun and enjoy yourself. And when you actually start having fun, it will become more effortless, more natural, and you'll progress faster that way. Actually, once you just like relax a little and take the pressure off yourself, you'll have more fun that way for sure. So, yeah, I think I went on a little bit of a tangent there at the end, but I think that we can sound confident. We can speak relatively fluently and well without necessarily um, having such a high level of grammar. So don't focus too much on the grammar, on the vocab, on the ways that you structure your sentences. It's more about how are those sentences coming out of your mouth? What tone of voice are you using? Are you using filler words? Are you keeping it nice and simple and just getting your ideas across? That's the most important. And when I listen to speakers, like on TED Talks or podcasts or anything, I pay way more attention when the person speaks in a confident voice and when they're clear in their ideas. And like, even if their idea that they're sharing isn't that profound or special or complex, I much prefer to listen to someone sharing basic but like potent and impactful statements that are more simple than somebody who is like really good at making these long fancy sentences, but like really the content that they're saying is the same as the guy who's expressing it in a more simple way. But for me personally, for my brain and for my attention span, I prefer to listen to someone who has a nice voice, who speaks clearly, simply, to the point, rather than someone who tries to sound smart and more complicated. Like my attention is going to go out the window with that person. So, yeah, keep it simple, keep it easy, keep it breezy, keep it beautiful. And until the next time, you guys, uh, take care of yourselves, be kind to yourselves, have fun. And thanks for listening and watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.